Year and a half ago or so, I recorded a movie on the NAP member website on finding a neutral gray point. And this continues to come back to haunt me, and people have wanted to debate about it. And I realized at the time I did make an error, and that error was I didn't frame this technique properly in terms of how I use it. And here's what I'm talking about. In an ideal world, here's what I would do when I was taking a shot in a studio. I would take a shot with some kind of gray card. This is a Wyball card. You can use a Grady Macbeth card, anything you want. Then I simply open curves, take my gray eyedropper, and click on something that should be gray, because we know, of course, that gray card should be gray. When you do that and click OK, then the color cast is removed. My technique looks like this. And this is when you don't have a gray card, or you didn't take the photo with the gray card, or you couldn't use a gray card. So let me be very clear on this. Ideally, every time we take a photo, we should have something in the photo that we know is gray, like a gray card, which is a good theory, but as we all can agree, there will be times when that just won't happen. For example, you're shooting a wedding. You can't interrupt the bride and say, excuse me, hold the ceremony for 1 second while you hold this card. So yes, in studio, great, but everywhere else, not so great. So here is the technique that I came up with, and it looks like this. Again, just to review for those people who haven't seen it, you add a new layer, and we're going to fill that layer with 50% gray. We're going to change the blend mode to difference, with the theory being whatever's gray on the top layer will be compared with the layer below, and those areas will show up very dark or black, which will help us find areas that are gray. So, for example, here I just start to move this in. I can see there's a spot up there, so I'm going to zoom way in on it so I can see it. Shift-click to mark it, and then cancel. Throw this layer away and go back to fit and window view. Because here's my theory, and the theory is very simple. If you don't have a gray card, then you still have to click on something that's supposed to be gray. Well, rather than totally guessing, this way it gives us a more educated guess, and that's simply what this is. It's a more educated guess, so instead of just strictly guessing out of thin air, where should I go? Instead, we take our gray eyedropper. Now I have the caps lock key turned on so that it matches up very nicely. I click, and the color cast is removed. So now we've done it a couple of different ways. So just out of interest, let's compare the two. There is going to be a difference, there's no question about it. But let's see how much of a difference there really is. We'll use CS3's new Auto Align Layers feature to try and line these up a little bit and compare. Here's the one with the gray card, here's mine. There is a difference, isn't there? Is it a huge difference? I don't think so. Is it way better than me guessing? I think it is. So, just to end any future debate about the technical nature of this is not the most technically correct way to find a neutral gray. However, I think you'll find, and I think anyone who's tried this will agree, it's way better than guessing. And when I teach this in my live seminars, I always start by saying this is a much better educated guess because it's Photoshop helping us find something that's in the neighborhood of neutral gray. So I thank you for your attention. I think you'll find if you try this, if you don't have the opportunity to use a gray card of some nature, this provides a great way to find a spot which will do a really good job removing the color cast. Now, if it sounded like I was in any way angry or venting or very serious or anything, that wasn't the case. It was more I realized my mistake way back when in not giving it in the right context. Now that I have, and people will hopefully understand, I feel much better now. Thank you. I'll see you next time.